Edition of Hannity. We are live from beautiful Hello San Diego, the site of tonight's Freedom Concert, and we have a big show in store for you tonight. Colonel Oliver North is going to be here. Former Miss California Carrie Prejean. We're going to be joined in a second by the great one, Mark Levin, our great American panel. But first, Democrats, they're continuing their efforts to attack average Americans who are speaking out at town halls all across this country. They've been called angry mobs. They have been dismissed as Republican operatives. But why are liberals so afraid of freedom of speech? And politically, can this strategy actually work? I am joined now by nationally syndicated radio talk show host. I call him the great one. 12 weeks, #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, 17 weeks overall, Liberty and Tyranny, a conservative manifesto. Great one, the great one. By the way, do you have a mob name?
A mob name?
Yeah.
I'm the Shark.
You're the Shark?
Yeah.
He's the Shark. Are you all mobsters here? Yeah! It's an angry mob.
Wait a minute. Oh. How many of you here are insurance executives? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
How many of you here are what?
Car execs.
Car execs. Raise your hand.
How many of you own banks? How many of you
here are patriotic Americans?
There's a real serious issue here, Mark, and that is that we have these town halls. They refer to them as angry mobs. The president today basically told people that, oh, we'll clean up your mess, but we want you to shut up for the most part. What's your take on this?
I've never heard in my life a president tell the American people to shut up. I really haven't. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the people around him, he's got Al Capone there, who is Rahm Emanuel. He's got Meyer Lasky, who's David Axelrod. He, I think, would be Saul Alinsky.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want to call names, we can call names too. But really, who is behaving like they're a mob? It's them. And now they're sending their favorite union thugs into these town hall meetings,
right,
to give them some muscle. I got a little bit of news for them. We outnumber you. We don't really give a damn what you send in the town hall meetings. We're going to keep going to the town hall meetings. And we don't want what you're trying to ram down our throats. Period.
Things. You know what's amazing to me, because I thought this was, liberals always celebrated, they were the great defenders of the First Amendment.
Never.
This is democracy in action. And wasn't the President of the United States once himself a community organizer?
Well, he was, and, we just demand that we be treated with the same respect that Obama gives the terrorists at Guantanamo Bay.
Fair enough.
I mean, they get due process rights. They're told that they're human beings, too, that they have a right to be heard. Well, guess what? We're American citizens.
Well,
we do, too.
Because if we look at the polls, what we see more and more is we see independents now, Mark, are moving, away from Obama, away from Obamacare. As poll numbers are going down dramatically. It seems like a real pulse of the American people. They want to diminish this. It may be the Chicago way. You've talked a lot on your radio show. We've talked right here on Hannity about Saul Alinsky and this tactic. What are these tactics that they're using?
Well, first of all, the tactics aren't going to work because the American people aren't stupid. Yeah. So Alinsky tactics have to work on stupid people. Yeah. The fact of the matter is the American people know that this president is spending this nation into oblivion. The American people know that independent entities like the Congressional Budget Office said this is unsustainable. The American people know that the Congressional Budget Office said not only is this health care plan unsustainable, it won't cover all the uninsured. And in addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, you will lose your private health care, so they don't want it.
Well, and we know the models have failed wherever it's been tried. I mean, whether it's Great Britain, whether it be France, wherever it happens to be.
Stalin's Russia, Mao's China.
Where do we start? Yeah. But the White House counseled. First of all, they send all these politicians out with these almost moronic talking points. These guys got laughed at, mocked, and ridiculed. But now they're promising. We see that Acorn is showing up. We see the unions are showing up. And they promise, quote, to send out people in twice the force of average Americans. Is this an effort, coupled with the snitch on your neighbor program that they started, is this an effort to intimidate the American people and silence them?
It's an effort to intimidate the American people, and it's also a very directed effort at the phony blue dog Democrats and so-called moderate Democrats in Congress. What they're trying to do is give the impression that the American people are a fringe group. Yeah. The fact is, any reputable poll out there right now says the American people are turning on this president, they're turning on this Congress, they're turning on the policies that he has to offer, and rather than step back and slow down and take a look at it, Obama just keeps ramming us. You know,
I love the line of that one guy at Steny Hoyer's protest. He said he's a Democrat, and he said it took Obama 6 months to pick a dog. You know, and this is what's going on here. We saw now with the ACORN members and with the union groups going into Tampa and some of these other places, and we're going to show the video to our audience here in just a minute. Do you think the president bears any responsibility for this conflict now that is emerging in these town halls?
That's an excellent point. As a matter of fact, let me suggest that if there's anything that happens at these town hall meetings, if anybody's hurt or anything really stupid happens, this White House has some responsibility for it. This White House is calling out its dogs. The president sent out an email to millions of his supporters. Rahm Emanuel, behind the scenes, is pushing too. So is Axelrod. If something terrible happens at one of these town hall meetings, I think the president, in part, can be held accountable.
Let me ask a deeper question, because I'm looking at this crowd here. We've got young people. Oh, seriously. You know, pan this crowd. I see young people. I see older people. I see middle-aged people.
I don't see any Brooks Brothers suits.
I don't see any Brooks Brothers suits here.
I'm not against them.
I see an American flag that this crowd brought with them. And I guess my question here is, what does it say about this president? What does it say about the Democratic Party that, you know, that they would now orchestrate attacks against Americans and smear them and discredit them and besmirch them? What does it say about them?
It says a number of things. It says, number one, the president is at war with the American people politically. He's literally at war with the citizens of this country in a political sense. Number two, it says they're desperate, that they can't make their case. What Obama and the Democrats really want, we've seen some audio on, heard some audio on this, is government-run, single-payer plan, the kind they have in the UK and Canada, because they want to steal your liberty, steal your ability to choose what doctor you have.
Right.
They want you to go to them to ask for a particular drug or procedure, and that's what this is all about. They want to ram this home while they can, but we're going to slow them down.
Well, one of the things, though, that they're considering, the president on a call, Mark, to some of these liberal bloggers, you know, he went out there and he said, well, whether we do it or not, we'll use the nuclear option. And Chuck Schumer reinforced this past weekend, which is they'd use the reconciliation process, or at least attempt to. I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off, where they'd bypass the need for a filibuster-proof Senate vote.
You know what that means?
What?
That means that they can't even keep some of their own Democrats.
Yeah.
They make that move to avoid that procedure, to bring this illegitimate rule into the Senate in order to get around members of their own party.
Yeah.
And this is what people need to understand. The radical left, the Saul Alinsky, Barack Obama element is in control of your party.
All right.
And it doesn't matter if you're a moderate
Will the Blue
Democrat.
Dogs cave in the end, or will they go with Obama? Will the Blue Dogs listen to the people, or will they listen to
Do I
Obama,
look like
Pelosi?
Gene Dixon? I don't know what the hell they're going to do. But I don't trust them. I think the people who are in their districts need to keep the pressure on and make it very clear. This is the seminal moment, and if you vote for this, we will campaign against you, and we will defeat you.
Great one. Congrats. 12 weeks, #1 on the New York Times. And when we come back, Colonel